Welcome to the Nifty Chicks and this NF Tutorials episode. You may have heard about the upcoming ETH merge that is scheduled to happen in September 2022. However, you may not understand what that really means for the future of ETH. I know we didn't and had to do a little research, so we thought we'd give you a short breakdown of what the actual merge means. Let's do this.
So, GenFT, the ETH merge it's coming. It's happening. They're expecting it to happen the middle of September. And we've kind of touched base on this a little bit, and we thought it might be a good idea to have a conversation about what this means for Ethereum and NFTs going forward.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot that we still don't even understand. And though we've done some research, it's still just a bit confusing. And quite frankly, there's a lot of like tech jargon in some of these terminal in some of these articles. So we're going to try to break it down, but know that this is complicated stuff.
Yes. So basically, Ethereum is moving from a proof of work to proof of stake. And I found this thread on Twitter that it's not only funny, but it really does, I think, help make sense of the merge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here, and we're just going to go through this tweet thread and walk you through it. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good. I love it.
All right. So here is one of I don't know how many of this thread, and basically they are explaining the Ethereum merge via beavers. Yes, that is correct. So the merge has never been this close and will undoubtedly be one of the biggest events for Ethereum to date, is what this says. So if you don't really know what it means and feel like it's too late to ask, we've got you. And this thread is by 25dev. You can find them on Twitter at the TWO5 FIVE dev DEV. Okay.
Yes. So a brief disclaimer first. This thread is intended to be very basic, which, by the way, the Nifty Chicks loves. So we filtered out information deemed unnecessary for your understanding. Thank you. This is not to say that they're unimportant, but you can understand the importance of the merge without fully grasping them already, which I appreciate.
Agreed. So the merge itself is easy to define, but like GenFT mentioned, yes, there are some terms that you may not fully understand. It is when the Ethereum blockchain will move from a proof of work system to a proof of stake system. So we're going to start with proof of work and kind of dive into that. So and they want you to imagine you're a beaver.
This is the story of beavers, all right? So put your head in the game here. You and your beaver friends want to build a dam. You all have the same pile of wood, and you want to make sure that each new log is perfectly aligned with the previous one and in the same order. You can't put all your logs down at the same time. That would be messy, right?
Sure, that makes sense. So to decide who should go first, you're going to play a guessing game. The goal is to guess the exact circumference needed for the next log to line up. Everyone thinks of random numbers, and the first one to guess the correct one wins the right to lay their log and a special treat. So you get rewarded.
Finally, one of your friends finds the solution and puts his log on the dam, enjoying his new candy. All of your friends are pretty sad, but that's okay. A new game starts every 10 seconds, and everyone gets a new pile of wood, and the game starts again indefinitely.
So what you're doing there with your friends is called proof of work. To put your log on the dam, you all used brain power. When one of you found the solution, he put down his log and claimed his reward. That is the definition of proof of work told by the story of the beaver friends.
I absolutely love it. This was like one of the
I
first
know.
times that it's like things have made sense to me. So like
Yeah.
apparently like I relate to beaver stories. So continuing on, of course, the blockchain is not a dam. In real life, logs are called blocks and they contain records of transactions. The fact that Multiply's beavers are trying to lay logs ensures that it's decentralized, more secure, and scalable.
Right. So we're hoping that you understand proof of work concept, but you may wonder if all the beavers are using all that brain power to think of a solution. Isn't that a waste of energy?
Yes, it is. And that's one of the main reasons behind the merge. With Ethereum, beavers are called miners, and brain power is called CPU, which is essentially the brain power of a computer. But CPU requires energy, a hell of a lot of energy.
Yes. So for those of you that are listening to the podcast and not following along with the screen share of the Twitter feed, it shows a massive warehouse with hundreds, if not thousands, of computers that are working nonstop, day and night, to solve these solutions. And miners are incentivized to lay the next log. So basically, they get as much CPU as possible to hopefully find the solution before others and get rewarded in ETH. So they're also called miner farms, are getting more and more expensive and making mining less and less accessible, and the blockchain less and less decentralized.
And because of this wasted energy, Ethereum's total energy consumption is basically comparable to the entire country of the Netherlands. But what if they were to make sure that only the beaver laying the log uses his brain power energy?
Sounds like a plan to me. So this is where proof of stake comes in. The objective is the same. It is to find the circumference of the next log. But this time, your beaver friends have decided to be lazy. Why should they waste all of their energy? Let the one who put the log down waste it.
To get to lay their log, all the beavers have to do now is stake their logs into a chest. This time, beavers are selected randomly based on a variety of factors like the number of the logs staked and how much time they've staked them.
Okay. So now the only beaver chosen randomly will waste some energy while everyone else is napping. Those beavers are pretty smart.
And here again, the reality is more complex than that. Miners are now validators. A minimum amount needs to be staked, funds are locked for a given amount of time, and so on. Truth is, you don't need to know any of that to understand what the proof of stake is.
So by now, hopefully you understand that proof of work is about proving that you burned energy to validate the next block. Proof of stake is about proving that you staked some funds to validate the next block. So it's two fundamentally different concepts.
What do we mean by merge? Are we suddenly going to mix these two systems overnight? Well, not really. Thing is that proof of stake system has been running on a parallel blockchain since December of 2020, a blockchain named consensus layer.
So the goal with the merge is to ensure that this new mechanism is tested before it is deployed. So they've been testing this for some time now. With a market cap of approximately $200 billion, you can imagine that a failed rollout isn't really an option. That's where the merge means shifting from execution layer, which is proof of work, to consensus layer, which is proof of stake.
So the merge has already been the plan for Ethereum, and the guy who invented Ethereum, Vitalik, considered a POS system back into 2013. But this mechanism is much more complex than the proof of work system, and it took years of research and development to perfect it.
So in this tweet that Vitalik did, it looks like in January, maybe 2012. In 2012, he was briefly an apologist for proof of work energy waste. Though fortunately, by 2013, he got excited about proof of stake as a promising alternative. By 2014, he was sold. And that's when he started working on the merge to proof of stake.
And last week, Ethereum developers announced a date for the final test before the actual merge, which is August 6th through August 12th. If this final test is successful, experts seem to agree that the merge could happen as early as September 2022.
A successful rollout will drastically change Ethereum's energy consumption, and its success will open the door to a whole lot of new improvements. The merge is only the beginning to the multi-year plan that will lead to ETH 2.0, but that's a whole other thread.
That's right. And so that essentially is it. So thanks to the Beavers and thanks to Twitter for explaining that to us a little bit better than some other articles. But that's, I think the highlight here is the merge, as of what we know now, is not going to impact us. My understanding is that there may be a freeze on our ability to purchase ETH and NFTs with ETH for a brief amount of time while the merge actually happens. But other than that, nothing from a user perspective should change. So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to click anything in order for this ETH merge to happen. It's going to happen in the background. And so my understanding is that it's not going to impact us hardly at all.
Well, let's hope so. And I do definitely like the idea that it's going to reduce their energy consumption by a shit ton. It says approximately 99.95%. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the biggest concerns for people coming into the space. We've got a lot of people who are, sensitive to the amount of energy use that is occurring in crypto in general. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I think it's going to be better. My understanding is that Bitcoin mining also doesn't take a lot of energy consumption because it's utilizing kind of excess energy, and so that's usually an aspect of the news that they don't share with you. But for Ethereum to be taking this step into the merge, I think is good for the environment. It's good for all the people who have been, staking their ground of like, this is bad for the world. So it's good.
Yeah. So I do think this is going to be good. I think that the merge, I mean, they're saying, it's going to make, obviously, ETH will be greener. It will be faster and slightly cheaper. So it will, allow users to be able to mint and sell NFTs in a sustainable setting. And I think it's going to be really interesting to watch and see what happens as this gets implemented, and then, the future of ETH.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's that about does it for what Jen FT and I know about the Ethereum merge. We are, we'll keep you obviously updated. We're thinking maybe once the merge happens, we'll see if we can find somebody who knows a little bit more about it than the two of us, who can help, give us some more information and details about what's happening. But in the meantime, of course, we want to make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube, and be sure to click that bell so that you'll be notified whenever we have a new episode go live.
And as always, thank you so much for listening to the Nifty Chicks. Always remember, invest in yourself. You are worth it.
Please listen carefully to the following disclaimer. Neither the host nor the guests of the Nifty Chicks podcast are acting in the capacity of financial advisors. We wish to remain transparent and impartial to the NFT community at all times, and therefore, the content provided by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests are intended for general information purposes only. Nothing written or discussed by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests should be construed or relied upon as investment, financial, legal, regulatory, accounting, tax, or similar advice. Nothing should be interpreted as a solicitation to invest in any cryptocurrency or NFT, and nothing herein should be construed as a recommendation to engage in any investment strategy or transaction. Please be advised that it is in your own best interest to consult with investment, legal, tax, or similar professionals regarding any specific situation and any prospective transaction decisions. You must do your own research when considering investing in cryptocurrencies or NFTs. We are simply sharing our journey with you as we learn more about the world of NFTs. Happy minting.